How's everyone doing today? Hopefully everyone's doing well. So today's vlog is gonna be a filler series, which means it's a break from my documentation vlog for 2024. So it's gonna runs from 8th of April till 19th of April, and hopefully by the 22nd of April I will come back with a regular programming of just vlogging my 40th year in 2024. So yeah, hopefully you enjoy this. Hello. We make it to Friday. Well, you guys made it to Friday. Happy Friday. This is video 5 for me. I thought I could do this 10 videos in one, like in an hour. I was mistaken. It has been 5 hours. It has been, I started at 1 o'clock or maybe 12 midday, and it's now about 6 o'clock. Yeah, it's about 6 o'clock. I only made 5 videos. Well, I haven't made the 5th video yet. I only made 4 videos. So yeah, so I'm thinking I just finished all the quota of talking that I have for this year, to be honest. That's not even a joke. So yeah, today when I was in the food court, I saw a bunch of older ladies trying to find seats to eat, to sit down and eat with their friends. And I can't tell their age anymore. I felt like they're my age, and I'm just not thinking that I am that old. I'm looking at them and I'm thinking, oh my god, these middle-aged women, they're behaving like this. Am I thinking that they're middle-aged and yet they're probably only 4 or 5 years older than me? I keep forgetting I'm 40. But yeah, but today when I was looking at them, they are definitely older than me, but I don't know how much older, probably not much. And I'm like, it's changed the way I see older people as I get becoming 40 now, because in the past I would think like older people is a separate species on themselves, and they know more, they probably have a lot more authority in regards to certain things, and that's to some degree is true. They've seen a lot, they experienced a lot, and I think they have more confidence with the way they maybe tackle the world in some way, mostly because I think a lot of things in the world repeat themselves. So they have experienced it in the past, in their youth. Like for example, right now Gen Z's trend that is reliving the 90s is very traumatic for me as a millennial, because I'm basically reliving my teenage years without my permission. And I could see like that trend was coming about 3-4 years ago when the scrunchie started to appear in Cotton On. And I'm like, oh no, how long will this trend last? And it's lasting. Anyway, so when I see these ladies, I'm thinking I should stop seeing them for their outer appearances, but rather like seeing them as not toddlers, but I guess like young women, as like in their 20s, like in their late teens, because I feel like as being 40 years old now, that's how I feel. I still feel like I'm a teenager, and meaning like I still don't know a lot of things. I'm still unsure about a lot of things at 40. And yes, there are things that I feel like, okay, I can take care of myself to some degree. I know how to cook rice now. 5 years ago, I didn't know how to do that. Maybe because of YouTube, so my confidence has gone up because I get to learn stuff that I didn't get to learn. And back then, you don't have anywhere to learn if you don't have anyone to show it to you. And these older women is probably like that too, right? Like if there's no one to show it to them, if you are basically at the mercy of the people that take care of you growing up, or like friends, or like being isolated was a death sentence. For me, it was a lifesaver to some degree, because being alone gave me the space to become more of myself and finish the development of the individual that is probably required. I feel like being alone gave me the space to complete the cell that is me. Like if you see a cell under the microscope, I'm bullshitting by this stage. You have a membrane on the cell, and then that membrane is basically separating one cell to another cell. And if you know the process of mitosis and meiosis, you know how a cell splits from one another, and once they do that, they become individual cells. And you know, you can see like this. I remember this because in grade 8 there were this political drama happening in my middle school, and it was between the biology teacher and the principal. So every time we have a biology lessons, what we ended up doing was just copying from a textbook. It was going to be copied word by word onto the blackboard, and then we had to copy it from the blackboard to our notebook. So it was just traumatic. But anyway, so like the mitosis and the meiosis, like when the cells basically separated and then it becomes its own thing, you know, it wasn't one big cells anymore. And I felt like that's what happened to me when I was alone. It's like I become these cells, like I become an individual cells, while before, while I have other people around me, my sense of self was not fully formed. It was still attached to other things, so it wasn't really great because I couldn't think for myself. There were so many other things that was like kind of haunting me and kind of like intruding into my energetical space, which you don't want when you want to become an adult. But I feel like maybe with these older women, regardless of ethnicities, you don't have people, if you're not lucky enough to have people to show things to you from, I don't know, from childhood all the way up to, well, if you're 60 years old, maybe up to like you're 50, 60 now, because YouTube is not a thing, and then you probably will not get into the YouTube part of the development, you know YouTube trend, because you're not at that age group where you are becoming part of the YouTube cult, right? So you need people to give you access to that particular that kind of area. Like either you need to have grandchildren or children that is listening to YouTube or watching YouTube so they can introduce it to you, or colleagues or friends. You know, it's not something that is going to happen on your own accord unless you work in the tech industry ever since you were like 20 years old something. And so I don't see them, like when I saw the 3 ladies basically sitting down interacting with each other. At first I was really judgmental, and I was really thinking to myself, oh my god, these ladies are so annoying. They're just behaving very poorly, like an uneducated people. And I'm thinking to myself, wait, why are you thinking like that? Like that's extremely judgmental, first of all. Like you have no right to judge them like that. You don't know what they are like in real life. Why are you stereotyping them like that? Just because you have bad experiences with certain, you know, amount of people their age, doesn't mean like all women their age is gonna behave like that. And so rather than seeing 3 old ladies, I started seeing them as like 3 young ladies who is still really young, and then when I started, this is completely projections onto them, has nothing to do with who they are as a person, completely my own projection going on in my own head. And yeah, I was thinking, yeah, I suddenly I see them as like young girls again, and suddenly I stopped judging them altogether, because I feel like, wow, you did well, like you managed to get to whatever age you are. Because as a 40 years old now, I recognize just because from the outside we look old, it doesn't mean that we're still not carrying the pain of the past. It doesn't mean that we're not really stuck in, I don't know, maybe when we were 10 or when we were 5. I'm still seeing myself from the lens of being a child, despite being in a 40-year-old woman's body. So when I see them, and I start switching to seeing them as young women trying to navigate the world, and I think they've done well for themselves, because you know they were dressing up really well and stuff. So so I knew this was definitely a projection on my side. So I guess I stopped expecting older people to be mature. I think that's the message. It's like, I no longer have expectations just because you're older, just because you're a granny, just because you're 80 years old, just because you're 40, just because you're 20, just because whatever age it is that you are mature. And I think that was like my epiphany when I saw these 3 women. But yeah, that is my bullshit for day 5. We made it. Hopefully you guys have a great weekend. I don't know what else am I gonna talk about for the next 5 videos. I'm running out of steam, and I'm running out of topic. I guess it will be an actual filler. If this series doesn't work out, I am completely fine with it. I think, like, I'm just grateful that you guys are hanging in there. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye everyone.